Okay, so now you've seen me do 2 babies today. We had a girl and a boy. We had 2 week and a 1 month. So 2 week and 4 week, did very different babies, right? So I am always curious about what are photographers thinking when I'm shooting? What do you think, how does it compare with how you're working? Yes.
So for me, I've noticed the biggest thing is you do 1 shot, look at your photo, move on. Where I would do 3 shots of that and then move on to the next one. So it's getting it right first time, I guess.
Yeah. And you know, we talk about this every workshop I have. The number one problem is overshooting. It's like people come in my workshop and they're like, my name is Anna, I'm an overshooter. It's just like overshooting anonymous. It literally, everyone has this problem. I actually had this problem as well. When I went from film to digital 1,000 years ago, I was too nervous to look at my camera because I felt like if I did that, I would look like I didn't know what I was doing. And I was already insecure about going to digital from film. And so it was years, and I would overshoot and take 1,000,000 shots and just kind of guess a lot of things along the way. Then I started realizing, what if I just stop and take a look at it? I can even show the client, zoom in and make sure it's tack sharp, and then move on. What I think I love about digital photography is you can do that. Now we shoot to a TV, so what's great is sometimes Alex will look and be like, oh, you were soft on that image, and I'll be like, oh shoot, I went too fast. And he'll be like, yeah, you should shoot that one again, and I'll shoot it again. So now I have like a double factor there. And sometimes if I really love a shot and I really want that shot, I may shoot it 2 or 3 times, may change the angle a little bit, just to make sure I really have that shot. I don't do every shot one exposure. I do sometimes, especially if it's a set I really like, I'll overshoot it. Just because if I don't, and then later I'll be like, I should have shot more of that. But the general workflow, no. Anyone else? Is there anything else that stuck out that you saw? Yes?
The lighting, just you're very particular on where you want it, even if it's 2 inches or so, you always want to move it to exactly where you need it.
Yes.
Which is a huge thing. Lighting's always huge.
Yes. Do you not move your lighting as you're going?
I do, but I feel like with your umbrella, it's smoother, it's easier. With my giant 5-foot softbox, like I can't angle it how I should be using it.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I'm super particular about lighting, but it took half my career to get there. I mean, when I started, I was natural light. I was super intimidated by studio lighting because when I started, it was mostly men. I wasn't in rooms with women. And men, I felt like, always knew their lighting, always knew their gear, everything was intimidating, everything was huge. I used to use big soft boxes. I used to use all of that. And I remember the first time I did a maternity session, I was renting out of a camera room, and it was like a big, huge, like as tall as me, like 5 feet tall, soft box. I didn't want to move that thing. So I would like just try to move the subject because I was afraid to touch it. And every time I would ask a man about lighting, they would just go from 0 to 500. I didn't even know what they were saying half the time. I took a 6-week intensive lighting workshop where we went over Rembrandt, split, butterfly, all of that. And then I left feeling even more overwhelmed and confused. And it was years before I think in the beginning, I was just trying to do what everyone else told me. And then I finally just took the time to learn it myself. And I would get models in and I would just be like, I'm gonna try this here, I'm gonna try this here, with just me and the model and the light in the room. And I think I had to kind of untrain, retrain my mind and keep it as simple as humanly possible. And that's what I do. But I am particular about where it is, so I'm always moving it. Okay, one more. Yes, Marie?
But I like that you can do it all on your own. Like, I know you have Alex, but
Yeah.
you know what to do. Like, you know when you need to move the light, you know how to move the baby. Like, you can do it on your own. Of course, you have Alex, and it's nice, but you don't necessarily.
I don't need Alex.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Bye.
We need you. But like, she could do it on her own.
I think it's what you're saying is that somebody new doesn't need an Alex right away to start.
Yeah.
You can do it on your own, is what she's
Yeah,
saying.
that's actually very good because a lot of people leave and they go, now I need Alex, how do I find Alex? And I can't function without Alex. And some days I can't function without Alex.
You wouldn't even gotten here without me.
Every time I'm in the airport, he's like, how did you travel on your own? Because I'll just be like, where are we going? And he's just like, I don't even know.
We'll be going somewhere, and I'm like, all right, the gate is this one. And like, she goes that way, gate's over here.
That is true. But when I lived lived in New York City, it was the same way. I would always walk. New York City blocks are like this long. I'd always walk the wrong block all the way to the end to realize I was on the wrong block. Yeah. And my kids will testify that I never know where I'm going. They're like, if mom goes right, just go left. Yes.
So how many sets would you say to a session, like a newborn session, like what we did? How many sets would you do?
I do about 4 to 6 an hour, at least. At least that's being conservative. Understand that a set can be 5 minutes. And understand that I know what needs to be done in a set. When you have a baby in a bucket, we haven't even done bucket yet. Get the baby in the bucket, get a shot, get an angle, move on. How many pictures does mom need of a baby in a bucket? She needs 1, maybe 2. But we feel like, let's add a hat, let's add a flower, let's shoot a few more. We've got 15 images in a bucket. Does mom need 15 images in a bucket? No. And there was a time where I would overshoot just like all of you, and then you know what the client said to me? Take a guess.
There's too many images.
Too many to choose from?
That's one. What would be the second thing?
Same.
All the same. Too many images and too many similar images. So in my mind, I'm constantly thinking transition. I told you when we started today that I had no idea what we were doing, right? And everything I made up, right? Did you see me pre-plan anything?
That was hard. But I'm gonna try it actually.
But the whole time in my mind, I'm thinking, what am I gonna do next?
Yeah.
So when I'm shooting something, I'm thinking what I'm gonna do next. So in my sessions, I'm pretty quiet in my sessions. I'm not a big talker because the whole time I'm building my workflow. Everybody comes to me, they want a perfect workflow. And can you make a book on a perfect workflow? I actually did a whole course on newborn workflow. And in that course, I specifically say you've got to build your workflow. And the first hour should be what's the easiest things to do. Baby on the back, just simple, easy things to save the hard things for later. I'm not going to go in the gate and do froggy and then spend 45 minutes trying to get that baby in froggy. I'm going to go in the gate and do wrapping and do big back poses and do super easy poses, sibling poses that I know are going to work and I know I can sell. I think a lot of times what photographers, the mistake that they make, that I made, is I would go into session for me. So 10 years ago, Anna, it was all about what prop I got. Tell me if this sounds familiar. What prop I got, what outfit I got, what I saw on Pinterest, or what I saw on whatever social media that I wanted to do. So when a baby come in, it was all about me. Oh, I want to do this, 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 and this. There's the nods of the head, right? And then what happens? Baby cries. And now you don't know what to do because you wanted to do all these cute things and they're not doing it. Oh, but I got this cute outfit, this cute swing, and this cute this, and they want nothing to do with it. And now you've lost an hour and a half into your session. Now you're mad at yourself. Now you've lost your energy because now you're just pissed. So that negative energy isn't helping the baby any, and it's just a shit show, right? And I don't even like to curse, and that's what it is. Sound familiar? I was exactly the same way. And then I had to shift my idea and say, something I said earlier, this is a service-based business. The client's paying me to do a job. And the job is to photograph their baby, right? So first, pay attention to the client. What is it they want? What is it they're looking for? What do they have to have first? Ask them for images of inspiration. Look at it. Don't be offended when it's not your images of inspiration. Who cares? They're trying to show you images they like. That's what images of inspiration mean. But clients get all offended, their ego gets all balled up. Yes.
But what happens if you don't capture that inspiration for them? That's where I feel, if I don't they show me something and I don't capture it the way they envisioned it, then they're not gonna like it.
Not necessarily true. When I ask a client to show me images of inspiration, I'm trying to see what's in their mind's eye. What you first want to look for is the similarity of the images.
So not copy it.
Correct. It's inspiration. I'm looking for the idea. Is it all bright images? Are they dark images? Are they all floral? And is it the poses?
Style more?
Correct. And the reason I know this is because a client had a baby boy and sent me all these girly inspiration images. And when she appeared, I was like, oh, I thought you had a girl, not a boy, and I even had to look back at the paperwork. And she goes, oh, it's not the colors, it's just I like the poses. So you have to find out what the client's looking for. When you're looking at these and you look at the client, ask them, what do you like about these images? Because every time it's always opposite of what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking, oh, they need this, this, and this, and they're going, oh no, I just like the pose. Or I like the softness of this image. Or I like the mood, the tone, the color. I've never had a client go, it's that prop, that light, that this, that. Every blue moon, a client will come in and they go, I need this. And it's usually something that I'm known for. Like, or sentimental, like a dream catcher image, or if the use of fluff, or something AI, they'll say, oh, this made me call you, or this reason. And that's another thing, is find out why the client's coming to you. Like, what is it about your work that drew them to you? Is it your lighting, your style, your color, your mood? That inspo board, the inspiration board, is not meant to copy. And I used to feel the same way. And that's also where I would struggle, is then you try to copy that, and it's just a disaster. I remember years ago, like 10 years ago, there was this vintage baby scale. And I loved it. And I looked everywhere. I'd seen it, someone do it. I looked everywhere. I had to have this vintage baby scale. I found one exactly like the image I saw. I used it one time. Guess what happened? I hated it.
Didn't like the
Not the client, me. It wasn't my style. I hated it. I couldn't get rid of that scale fast enough. So I learned to just draw inspiration from other photographers, and I no longer get offended when they show me an image that's not mine, because I ask them, what are you drawn to? With maternity, it's usually the lighting. It's always the lighting. Or maybe the fabrics or the toss of the fabrics. With baby, it's a lot of the lighting and then particular poses, not necessarily the prop. Because sometimes I'm in another country and I'll be like, oh, I don't even own that prop. That was in another country. They're like, okay, well, that's fine. I just like the idea of it. I like how I feel when I look at that image. So I switched a lot of my focus. So now when I go into a session, find out what the client likes and why. Why are they hiring you? You want them to leave satisfied. Then, what are the easiest poses that I can do first? And do all of those in the first hour. By doing that, it allows the baby to be relaxed and gives the parents comfort, and you know what you're doing. But if you go in and you're trying all these rock and hard poses, and the baby's fussing and you're flipping them around and you're, oh, let me just get them in the frog, you look really stupid. And you don't look like you know what they're doing. So now the energy shifts again. Now they're just, they're in their seat going, I don't know about this. I just paid how much money? Can I get a reshoot? Can I get a refund? They're uneasy. You feel it. Now you're uneasy, and now the baby feels it. But if you reverse it and you go, okay, I got this. Even if the baby's crying, you're like, I'm gonna wrap this baby up, and I'm gonna do easy on the back, on the beanbag, super easy, super whatever. And all of a sudden you look around and they're like on their phone, they're not even looking at you, they're sound asleep. They're like, or they're ooh, ah, taking pictures. Now what happens? You feel good? You feel confident? You're relaxed? And the baby feels relaxed. All that energy shifts back and forth, and now you're doing your job.
Another thing I noticed is you encourage parents to take behind the scene photos.
Yes, I do.
Why? Because in my contract, I have no other photography.
For so many reasons. Again, number one, they're paying me to do a job for them. Okay? Number two, all my sessions are prepaid. They're paid in advance. I no longer have a session only. I've gotten rid of that. We're going to be going into pricing in a minute, or tomorrow sometime. So I no longer have a session fee where I have to protect anything. It's prepaid. The digital images, their package, everything is prepaid. They can add on and buy more, but all the work I'm doing, they've already paid for. So I know that they're going to get my best work. They're going to choose my best work, and that best work will be reflected on their phone, on their computers, on their wall. So the behind the scenes images is no threat to my business. Photographers will say, oh, they took a picture with their phone, they're going to blow that one up and not buy mine. I've taken that equation out, and I don't really feel that I've ever had that equation, because what did we talk about yesterday? What was the key thing yesterday to find out what?
Your ideal client.
Our ideal client. So my ideal client and the client, they just don't. They're busy. They're paying me a lot of money. They're excited. I want them to do behind the
They
scenes.
hired a professional for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes back to that.
So